Hey everyone, Bowling with the Fef here at Junior Gold, Twin Cities of Minnesota for the trade show. We got PBA champion Matt Russo here. Matt, what do you think of all this? This is great stuff.
Yeah, fantastic. Been doing this since 2019 as a pro, and every year it gets better and better, more kids. Motiv does it right. They have the best booth. We got our DJ this year. Every year we try to do something different. So it's fantastic to give back to the kids. When I was bowling this tournament, it wasn't as big. So it's nice to see how much it's grown.
Tell me with a straight face that you didn't try the helmet on.
I have tried the helmet on. I was DJing this morning. We have an extra one, so I'll probably wear it a little bit later on, but it's a cool thing.
It's really been a conversation piece, just kind of lurking around the booth. That's all anybody's talking about is the helmet.
Yeah, we've had people ask us who's in the booth, who's up there DJing, and it's, a guy who owns the company, one of the owners of the company, and then Justin Wyman, who did our production. So we'll step in a little bit later on, but yeah, it's been a big conversation.
Tell me about this season. You've had ups and downs. I believe you were in one of the World Series shows?
I was in the Missouri show. I made the show in my hometown. So, yeah, the season was very rocky. It was good for a couple weeks. It wasn't so good for a couple weeks. Just battling, trying to figure out what's happening on the lanes. And a couple weeks we had it, I bowled really good. Made the show, finished fourth in Missouri, which was fantastic. That's been my favorite moment, being able to bowl in front of my hometown crowd and just have a lot of support. Regardless of however it went, I was winning that weekend. So it was great. Learned a lot from the times that I didn't bowl good, and looking forward to getting back on it next year.
What does it mean to have the support of Lauren, who not only knows, from the fans' perspective, from the bowler's perspective, but from a touring pro who's had success?
Yeah, it's been fantastic. Definitely has helped me become a better player, a better person, and just learn a lot. I learned a lot from her, and watching her compete and see how she handles tough situations. I definitely am very appreciative of all the support that she's given me, and she pushes me to be my best. So that's all I can ask for, and we definitely have a really good team going.
Is there a lot of bowling talk around the house on an average day?
It depends. I love to watch bowling, so I generally have it on when there's something happening. But we try and keep it separate. Like when we're out traveling and working, we talk about it. When we're at home, during the summertime, we hardly really talk about it just to get a break from it. With the college season, it's hard though, because every day the girls are around. So we're always looking to get better, always trying to find ways to be better. And it's been my life. It's our life. It's how we met. So it's really no escape from it.
Sure. Tell me about your role on the college team and what that's been like for you, maybe how it's evolved, even internally.
Yeah, I'm a volunteer, so actually I don't work for the university. It's kind of in my marriage contract, essentially, that I help her out. I love it. I really do. I love coaching. I love coaching the women. I think it's very different than the men. The game's a lot different. The women have a little bit more attitude, so I kind of learned how to deal with that. But we have a really good team, so it's nice to coach a program who has a lot of success. I love watching Lauren, do what she does and kind of bring them to where they want to go. I drill all the balls. I help out with practices and I travel to the events on the weekends. But it's been great. I've learned a lot with what I want to do in the sport while I'm coaching. So you just pick up on more stuff with ball reaction and layouts and lane play and stuff that just helps as a player.
And they had a nice run this year. They made an appearance at ITCs. What was that like for you?
Yeah, we have 6 freshmen, so to do it with a brand new group to try and tie in the others that were still there, we definitely had our rocky moments, but they dug deep. Finished second at regionals to Vanderbilt, and then they finished 4th at ITCs. So they qualified last essentially in the bracket, and we made our way through. So they're showing growth. It's a lot of fun to watch them compete. I still remember when we made the show our first year. I cried when Wichita didn't strike, and just a moment of relief. Like we can actually do this. We're good at it. We're young. And we're not D1. So it also is a big statement there to be successful when you're not that high.
Sure. Through your marriage to Lauren, Minnesota's a little different for you, isn't it?
Yeah, I actually love Minnesota. Ever since I visited, I love Minnesota. I hate the cold weather, so I was like, yeah, this is off, not for me, but beautiful area. I love the coffee here. A lot of people ask me, where's Lauren at, or, is she going to be here? She's got a lot of ties. She's from here, and she's bowled at all the centers. So it's cool to be in a place like that. But I love Minnesota. It's a nice city. The Vikings are great.
No, they're not.
Well, they have the best. They have the best stadium. I was hoping we were going to be in the stadium, for one of the events. But Minnesota's great. Great place.
Yeah. I've said often on my show that I was heavily influenced by the talk. And when you started that up, I felt like there were some elements that I could steal. Granted, I've made this thing my own since then, but tell me about the talk, what went into it, and why it's not a thing anymore.
Yeah, I wish I would have stuck with it. It was an idea that I had to kind of help collegiate bowling. I wanted to do something nobody was doing. I was talking to collegiate coaches, interviewing them, kind of about their program, players, and maybe about them and what they've done previously in the sport. I did some with Gary Brown, and it just, nobody wanted to interview with me. I would reach out, and just try and schedule people, and just, it never went as far as I thought. Which I was a little disappointed because I really loved doing it. I had a really good idea, and I thought it would go far, and I kind of just got a little disappointed because I was like, man, I know a lot of these coaches, and they just, they don't want to sit with me for a half hour, 40 minutes to talk about their program. So, I just said, let's put it to the side for a while and just focus on myself. And then I thought about doing it again, but there's just so much out there now that it's hard to, recoup that. But I would love somebody to, that wants to continue to do that, and I'd help them out and, give them some more ideas.
Does it give you a newfound respect for, what content creators in bowling kind of have to do to prepare and logistically plan to get these shows, up online?
Yeah, I don't think a lot of people know how much it takes actually to do all of this, with interviewing and post-production, pre-production, planning it out, traveling. I think we have the hardest sport to become a social media activist for, because everybody travels everywhere. Every city there's something new. It's not like you can follow an NBA team around, and yeah, you're just following their schedule. No, you're following the women's tour, the men's tour, collegiate. You're following, junior gold. You've got PBA junior stuff. So it is very hard. I do give a lot of people credit who have very successful, social media platforms. ZVL Bowling, I think, has done a really good job recently, with what he does. And just for a guy to say, I'm just going to do this my whole, my career right now, huge credit. I thought he was fake. I saw him yesterday, and I was like, hey, you're real, actually. So really cool. It's really cool to see other people, do their thing. I've tried the YouTube channel a little bit. It's a lot of work. With juggling the college team and life and bowling, I don't have somebody to do all my videos. So, we put it aside a little bit. I do them as I can, but it's just a lot of work. I give everybody credit who has started from the ground up, that has built the team. Like the house has a team, and Darren has some guys that help him out. And, for us, it's just me. So, we try and just rep ourselves and, support as much as we can.
Can be done, but you're right. It's a lot of heavy lifting. There are, families and kids all over this place. You signed autographs for a bunch of them. What do you hope for these kids who, let's face it, are going to go into competition hoping for the best, but only a few of them are going to come out of here with hardware and checks?
Yeah, just you enjoy the experience. This is where the greatest part of your career can happen. As far as launching where you're going, you never know who will be at the end of it, whether you're the best bowler coming in or you're not. Anybody can beat anybody. So I hope they enjoy it. It's a lot different than what it used to be. There's way more bowlers, create friendship that way. There's less games, unfortunately, which kind of limits, some of the players. But just really hope they enjoy the experience.
Okay, I put in a message to Sean that he has not gotten back to me on. Are you aware of the Pate Power Rankings?
Yes, I do know the Pate Power Rankings. I'm very fortunate I move up every year somehow. I know I'm not first, and I know I'm not last, so that's all I care about. My wife, I believe, is first. I think Debbie, her mom, is second. I don't know in order. It has changed.
Right. Josh is always going to be first.
Josh, well, yeah, but I think Lauren deserves to be first. She is the best Pate. So,
okay. And why is that? Because I know Sean's going to see this.
Just because she's my wife. That's just partial to that. She's had the most success as well. So Josh was Sean's, but Lauren's mine. So I'll take credit for that.
She's a good one.
Yeah.
Matt Russo, thanks so much for the time.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you for watching Bowling with the Fef. Pound the like button and subscribe button. It's the easiest way to support the channel, and it's free. Bowling with the Fef is brought to you by Chip Magnet. Raise your snack standards.
Bullwinkle's in Eau Claire, Wisconsin, the official bowling center of Bowling with the Fef. Jerry's Score More Pro Shop, the Eau Claire area's leader in bowling products and services since 1988, and Visionary Video Hub, video with impact.
Email bowlingwiththefef@yahoo.com with questions or to appear on the show. You can also reach out on your favorite social media platform.